Hey, it's Drew Spence, the creator of the 4/6 graphic comic series. We're going to cover episode 3, which is Bullets and Blades, which has in it Fire Destiny and Kojin Asagiri. It's the two of them together on the mission. So originally, as I've been saying, you weren't supposed to know who all the members were. So it's going to be surprising that, oh my goodness, we have another two characters never heard of before that are now the Annihilators. So you sort of would think after episode 1 that the Annihilators was Agility and Lone Star G. That's the trick shot adventure. And then I flip it on you and you see that the Annihilators become Jackie and the robot. And now you're sort of saying, okay, well, these two are now the Annihilators, these 4. And then I flip it again and now you see 2 more. And then by at some point it hit you in the head that they were called 4/6. There must be 6 of them. And there is a spoiler, a small one, but you were supposed to think that the 6 of them was everybody with Beta. And then when the leader shows up, which is premise last door, then you really get it like, oh, okay, the 6 humanoid characters are the 4/6. The robot's not one, so there's even one more guy that's the leader of this group. And of course you should be curious, like, well, what kind of guy can lead a superhero team this diverse? Like, they're all so different. But this was a good one. I wrote this when I was really, really young, and as a kid, my vision of a team was I wanted one of everything. I wanted, the leadership type character. I wanted a ninja that could be like a samurai mixed with a ninja, mixed with a kung fu artist doing some hard karate if he needs to. I wanted the guy flipping around. That is the agility with crazy balance and skills. I was into gymnastics as a kid. So, we always flip around in the backyard. So I had an agility character. His name is literally Agility. And he would do a lot of flips when he fought. So I had that character. Fire Destiny is basically a cowboy. That's from watching all the old Clint Eastwood movies, the old spaghetti westerns. So I love that, that guy that just walks in the room and, by the end of the poker game, he's won the game and he shot everybody up, So I said, I want one of those kind of characters, So as a little kid, I was just adopting one of everything. I love the $6 Million Man. I loved bionics. I loved bionic arms. So the team was really a lot of bionic stuff in the beginning was highlighted. They were always doing bionic stuff and jumping and, but some of that's diminished where we're sort of introducing bionic principles slowly so that you're getting a little loose shot. This is the cover. It's them back to back. Of course, I use some classic Western guns that he's got, and he's got a classic samurai sword, somewhat futuristic, but we begin Bullets and Blades. I like the little details sometimes. Oh, this reader is comiXology. So I was using issue before for the previous episodes of bullet points, but this one actually uses comiXology. So if you've never used it to read a book, it's one of my favorite readers. I really do like the interface. I find it easy to use. I don't so much mind the way on the bottom of the screen you'll get a little bit of the menu pops up, so it's a little distracting. But I dig this a lot. But let's dig in. So we begin. Again, more information for the beginning. This actually is from Seek and Destroy. There's a rap album that I did called Rocket Science, and I've been subtracting a lot of the music videos and concepts from the album and turning them into a comic book. So there's a song on the album called Seek and Destroy, which is END as in end, not and as an additional, but there's a video based on that shot that I did with Sam Duran. He was the camera guy, a bit of a visionary himself who had a lot of the ideas. The mic stand being dragged in the video, some of the shots that he set up, he was like, let's take a shot of this, let's get you doing this. So a lot of those ideas that he had sort of were like, okay, we're doing more than just making a music video. And it came out to be pretty cool sci-fi, but that's a short story. This is my Impressum page. I make the joke Impressum, but it's basically a lot of information about what we do, my copyright stuff. I needed this for the EPUB version of the book. So I was forced to sort of have certain pages that had certain things on it. That's a whole nother story for another day. That was like a nightmare trying to make the EPUB version of my books. But yeah, this is a very cool scene from that, and of course Agility and Louise are there. I love those two together. So the story begins. It's bullets and blades. You know, by now you figured it out. He's the bullets, Kojin's the blades. Those two together, and you see their different approach already. They're best friends, but they have a contrasting personality. Where, you know, Kojin wants to be on the ground. You know, he's much more grounded. That's the sort of play on his personality already. He's grounded. You know, Fire Destiny, who is Rex Avery, is a lot looser of a spirit. He's a bit more, you know, into womanizing, you know, hard drinker. Like he's not really the most disciplined member of the team, but, you know, he's pretty sharp in the areas when he needs to be. He pulls it together. But he's got the flying vehicle. He used to be a racer. So this, you know, is a model prop, which is sort of based on a Formula race car. You could see that, you know, it has basically the Formula race car cockpit area. But that's these two together. You know, their first conversation is basically them two going back and forth, you know, trying to outdo each other. So you get that friendly competition where, you know, oh, my weapon does this, you know, my skill is this, you know, this is what I do to enemies. And it's very fun. You know, it's very fun. You know, Kojin is training and stretching, and he's just laying back in the cut like, you know, whatever, you know. You could just tell, like, he's definitely that guy. But, yeah, this is great. This conversation is significant, obviously. I didn't just have fun, you know, showing two characters jockeying back and forth. It actually has a real significance later in the stories. Again, I'll try not to do spoilers. I know people were complaining, like, oh, you're giving everything away. But I don't think episode 3 has spoilers in it. Like, I don't think we got to the spoilers part yet. I think we don't get to the next big turn until deeper in the story. So I think I might go through this whole one. And, you know, and if you haven't read my comics before, you know, you might want to know what you'd be getting if you bought one. But okay, they head to the Circer. Now you see the Circer, and they're loading up their vehicles aboard the Circer, and they bump into the Beta, who is wearing his humanoid outer shell. So, of course, you know, the relationships are very important, and I stick to that heavily because, of course, on the surface, I want you to just read my book and be like, oh, action, explosions, guns, you know, fighting, oh, cool action series. But if you start to comb back the layers, you know, everything I'm doing is deliberate. Like, I do know where this all goes. I know what's going to happen in the future. I'm sort of always planting seeds for what's going to happen and trying to give you subtle hints. Like, there's almost nothing that I've done that I don't know is going to relate to this episode here. This relates to this episode here. So everything remains important. I don't expect you to pick it all up. I don't really think anyone's going to get it like I'm going to get it, or my close little circle of supporters who are going to read it and trust me, like, okay, I can read into this because he's always doing something. Like, I get it. He's forging something. But, you know, even their first statements, you know, welcome aboard the Circer, Kojin 2, and Fire 3. They have numbers. So the 4, 6 actually have designated numbers. And a lot of them, you know, don't really take it seriously. Premise is obviously number 1. Kojin is number 2 in command. Fire Destiny is 3rd in command. Should things go to the left, he takes over as being 3rd. But he says, you know, no one uses the numbers besides you. Which is funny because Jackie's the only one that has taken her numbers so seriously. She's kind of like, I'm the 5th. Like, in this group, I'm reduced to like number 5. Why am I 5? But so she's not really feeling the idea. But it's subtle, and it's not, you know, super crazy. She's gonna be having a revolt or quit the team over being 5. But, you know, it's something that she takes seriously. So, he says, "Where's my girl?" So, you know, Beta responds like, "Jackie, you know, not your girl, but Jackie is working out." And then he says she seems detour-minded. He's trying to say the word determined, but he hasn't quite picked it up when he heard it to the spelling of it, so he hasn't quite gotten it. And here's Jackie working out. You know, the first thing he does is notice, you know, how attractive she is. He has a thing for her. It's not like a big secret. You're going to know throughout this series he's got a thing for her. And Kojin is focused on her actual technique. He's much more serious, but Fire is looking on and, looking at her. And he hits the bag. A few people ask me about this. Like, well, I don't get this scene. Well, she's working out on a giant metal cylinder because she destroyed all the heavy bags, which is a crazy thing to do, that she actually uses the knife and destroys all of their heavy bags. So now she has to work out on an actual piece of metal. That's why he's like, blink, blink, because he's hitting this metal like, we got heavy bags, right? Like, you don't gotta like do this. But okay, and of course he's still somewhat flirty. She's like, stop flexing, taking some oxygen. So this is funny. He's like, who's flexing, But they get to their mission, and they're talking about what they're going to be doing and how they're going to clear out this base that, if you remember in episode 2, Jackie visited these bandit miners who are, wreaking havoc with the local townsfolk and doing all sorts of craziness. So she sort of recruited the Annihilators, made a deal that, this mining company wants to take over that little section. So do us a favor, wipe them out, we'll move in, and we'll take that claim over as our own. So the Annihilators are basically going to be going in and doing the dirty work for a corporation, while at the same time clearing out some bad men. So that becomes the arc of, Redder Coltrane and his crew. I do like this reader, though. This is a very nice and easy to read thing. But, okay, so they're going over the game plan about going into the base, how they're not going to have power when they first get there until Beta brings down the power grid. But, yeah, I like this scene, all of them getting amped up. I love this stuff. So they go to the base. So there's a giant sandstorm, which is what they're going to basically ride in on the back of, so they can get right up on the base without anybody seeing them. So this guy, I must have fantasized about this scene for about 5 weeks straight. Just keep replaying it in my head of the ship. The guy can't see because the storm is so crazy, and the ship pulls out the storm. So he's like, what the? He sees this giant starship. And then all of a sudden, as the smoke pulls back and the cloud cover, he sees them standing there. Oh man, I love this shot. So, the first thing he does is he yells cannon, takes the head off. First guy down. And I'm telling you, I love their interactions. So, Jackie sarcastically says, oh no, don't start with a quieter weapon. Like, you're gonna first pull out the biggest gun you got and blow the guy away. Let's not sneak into action. Let's just go in full guns blazing. So Kojin says, hey, we're losing dust cover. Sooner or later when the dust cover leaves, they're gonna see a giant starship hanging over their base. We gotta go. This shows the intelligence of Jackie. I love this too. Partly for praising my own stuff, but the whole point of writing comics, for me at least, is you make stuff that you enjoy. Like, this is the kind of stuff that I would read if I was a kid and I was writing for myself. Like, I know what I read, I know what I used to fall in love with, I know what pages I'd go back over again and again, and what books are dear to me. So part of my goal is to, I don't want to do the fan thing where I'm like, I'm going to recreate every comic I did when I'm going to follow in the footsteps. That's not really my goal. The first part of it was to break down what a comic book is, which is telling a story through images. So once we start from that clean slate, I'm not trying to be like someone else or follow a blueprint. You don't want to reinvent the wheel because, the legends that have come before, the people that you highly respect, great comic artists that have come before you have laid down a foundation and a path. But at the same time, you sort of don't want to just be another version of something that already existed. Like, I kind of feel like, all right, if I'm going to follow, I have to do something slightly off to the left or to the right. I can't just retread the same steps. My book isn't really paying homage to a certain thing. It's basically paying almost homage to a genre. Like, I am taking on the action hero, superhero motif, but we're not quite doing it. There's subtle things that, like, if you pay attention, you can catch it, but if you don't, it goes over your head. Again, first thing, even in this little moment, they all wear capes. And so many people said, oh, you're breaking all of these motifs and you're not doing, why do you keep saying superhero? Because on a certain level, I do have that in there. They are wearing capes. Jackie has a cape coat, but I don't do it in a way where, like, you know, they're standing there and the cape is part of the persona. They don't, you know, it's not that same reasoning why I'm making it. But that's getting off. But this is my favorite part. When they get to the base, Jackie knows the code for the base. So Kojin is kind of surprised, like, you know the code? And she says, it was only 6 letters. It was only 6 numbers, 3 letters. I hate typos. It was only 6 numbers, 3 letters, and 2 special characters. He entered it fairly quickly, but I was still able to see. So that's the equivalent of this guy sitting there going, boop, 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 putting the code in, and she picks it up. And she picks up that. But yeah, awesome, awesome, awesome. So, you know, now the next part is she says, Beta, I want you in stealth mode. You know, move quietly. Let's not go crazy. And of course, you know, she's giving him all this advice, basically like a mother and a child. You know how she's treating him. And then Fire Destiny says, you know, it's tough for him to maintain a killer robot image with you mothering him like that. You know, and she's shut up. But I think that's funny. He's mothering this robot. Like, what are you doing? How's he going to maintain his killer image? You know, which is what we kind of established in the second book. He was so tough. But yeah, so yeah, we're getting there. I'll go through the whole thing. So, you know, it's funny that he flashes his light, his headlamp, at the door that they were at before. So, you know, the light shines through the door, and the same guy that's sleeping, he goes, what the, greener that you? So that's the nickname for the green alien that came to the door before. That his nickname is Greener. You know, so he thinks it's that guy coming back to come through the door again. So he says, you know, is that you flashing that? And of course it's not. Kojin just put his Vibra sword through the door, and now begins the Annihilator prayer, and they begin to open the door and enter the base. So like it just set off just now. But this is episode 3, which really starts the ball swinging, and you see, 4 of the 6 together. But this was a really good episode. I like this one so much. I still haven't gotten to the thing I want to tell you. We are way over time. I'll try to make it quick. Yeah, oh man, I love that. We had, as strange as it is, my motherboard burnt out a couple of weeks ago. So we're actually down for a couple of weeks trying to figure out what to do right now. With all the crypto mining going on, the prices are crazy for computer parts. So to build a new machine capable of rendering all of this CGI work and doing it, you know, more than one image a day, it takes a lot of work. So you need a pretty fast computer to sometimes pull off some of the stuff that we're doing. I do a lot of stuff post. You know, you don't want to really do everything inside your rendering engine. So a lot of it is post, you know, some Photoshop work after. But, you know, that was like the big thing that was going on, was trying to get a machine, you know, quick enough. And now you'll see, obviously, as the books go along, I'm able to do so much more with the series. But, oh, man, some of this stuff was quite a battle back in the time that I was working on this. But, yeah, I like the little radar device on here. Lots of cool little details. Lots of cool. I so enjoyed doing this. This is a lot of fun. But okay, this is episode 3, Bullets and Blades. You know, they're about to set it off on this guy's base. And of course, as you know, those who have read it already know, I just keep ramping up every issue after this. Like, this is a crazy arc. You know, gonna be one of the strong ones. Like I said, there's a lot going on after this, but you know, for an opening, for the opening couple of books, yeah, this is kind of a crazy beginning. Very, very, very happy with this. But okay, this is 4-6. I'm Drew Spence. The information is still the same. I don't want to keep ending every video telling the same thing, you know. Obviously, you know how YouTube works. Check the comment area. You'll see links to everything if you want to buy the book. Hop on the Patreon. Slide me some coins to help make this book. We just did recover from a catastrophic computer meltdown. That was a crazy, crazy turnaround. You know, trying to get a new machine up and running so I can keep making the book. A lot going on. And that's about it. This is episode 3, 460 Annihilators. I'm the Drew Spence, the creator, illustrator, all of that stuff. More in the works. You know, today's a quiet Saturday, so I might even try to make some more videos today. You know, I'll have to change my shirt though. If you guys are like, he's wearing the same shirt in every video. You know, you guys thought that. But yeah, let me know what you think. If you read it, if you read it, did you peep it? You want to make some changes to this? Because I don't want to roll off too many that are all exactly the same. But maybe, I don't know, do you need to see the physical books again to see them in, you know, maybe some videos of the physical books? Maybe I'll shove those in the next one. But all right, that's it. I thank you guys for the support as always. You know, when you guys buy the books, it sends a statement so I see which ones you're buying. And the comments I get and the feedback is really, really appreciated. I mean, obviously, I'm going to do comics no matter what, but it just doesn't make sense to put them out unless there's a real audience that enjoys my work and is digging it. So with that, we're going to keep forging ahead. New material, new books coming. And that be it. I will see you guys probably episode... will I do 4? I think I'm going to do 4. We're going to change the shirt up, though. But 4 is coming up next. Thank everybody. Peace out. 4-6.